Namaste. Verses the Quran. Okay. Here you go. Namaste. 1 second. Music's too loud. Here you go. The good man and true who succeeded Abraham received the gifts of revelation and guidance and kept alive God's message, which now is proclaimed in the Quran, and which is blessing and confirmation of all that went before. In the daily pageants of nature, the dawn and the restful night, the sun, the moon, the stars that guide the mariner in distant seas, the rain clouds pouring abundance, and the fruits that delight the heart of man, can yet not be signs of God. No vision can comprehend them, yet he knoweth and comprehendeth all. That was the reasoning about us, which we gave to Abraham against his people. We raise whom we will, degree after degree, for thy Lord is full of wisdom and knowledge. We gave him Isaac and Jacob, all we guided, and before him we guided Noah, and among his progeny David, Solomon, Job, Joseph, Moses, and Aaron. Thus do we reward those who do good. And Zachariah and John, and Jesus and Elias, all in the ranks of the righteous, and Ishmael and Elisha, and Jonas and Lot. And to all we gave favor above the nations, and to their fathers, and progeny, and brethren. We chose them, and we guided them to a straight way. This is the guidance of God. He giveth that guidance to whom he pleaseth, of his worshippers. If they were to join other gods with him, all that they did will be vain for them. These were men to whom we gave the book and authority and prophethood. If these reject them, behold, we shall entrust their charge to a new people who reject them not. Those were them who received God's guidance. Sorry, I want to read that again. Those were them who received God's guidance. Copy the guidance they received. Say, no reward for this do I ask of you. This is no less than a message for the nations. No just estimate of God do they make when they say, nothing doth God send down to men. Say, who then sent down the book which Moses brought? A light and guidance to men, but ye make it into sheets for show, while ye conceal much. Therein were ye taught that which ye knew not, neither ye nor your fathers. Say, God. Then leave them to plunge in vain discourse and trifling. And this is a book which we have sent down, bringing blessings and confirming which came before it, that thou mayest warn the mother of cities and all around her. Those who believe in the hereafter believe in this, and they are constant in guarding their prayers. Who can be more wicked than one who invented a lie against God, or saith, and hath received inspiration when he hath received none, or who saith, I can reveal the like of what God hath revealed. If thou couldst but see how the wicked are in the flood of confusion at death, the angels stretch forth their hands. Yield up your souls. This day shall ye receive your reward, a penalty of shame, for that ye used to tell lies against God, and scornfully to reject of his signs. And behold, ye come to us bare and alone, as we created you for the first time. Ye have left behind you all that which we bestowed on you. We see not with you your intercessors, whom ye thought to be partners in your affairs. So now all relations between you have been cut off, and your fancies have left you in the lurch. It is God who causeth the seed grain and the date stone to split and sprout. He causeth the living to issue from the dead, and he is the one to cause the dead to issue from the living. That is God. Then how are ye deluded away from the truth? He it is that cleaveth the daybreak. He makes the night for rest and tranquility, and the sun and moon for the reckoning. Such is the judgment and ordering of the exalted in power, the Omniscient. It is he who maketh the stars for you, that ye may guide yourselves with their help. Through the dark spaces of land and sea, we detail our signs for people who know. It is he who hath produced you from a single person. Here is a place of sojourn and a place of departure. We detail our signs for people who understand. It is he who sendeth down rain from the skies. With it we produce vegetation of all kinds. From some we produce green, out of which we produce grain. I'll read it again, sorry. I get tripped up by these parentheses and everything, just adding words. From some we produce green, out of which we produce grain, heaped up, out of the date palm and its seeds, clusters of dates hanging low and near, and gardens of grapes and olives and pomegranates, each similar yet different. When they begin to bear fruit, feast your eyes with the fruit and the ripeness thereof. Behold, in these things there are signs for people who believe. Yet they make the jinns equals with God, though God did create the jinns. And they falsely, having no knowledge, attribute to him sons and daughters. Praise and glory be to him, the one above what they attribute to him. To him is due the primal origin of the heavens and the earth. How can he have a son when he hath no consort? He created all things, and he hath full knowledge of all things. That is God, your Lord. There is no God but he, the creator of all things. Then worship ye him, and he hath power to dispose of all affairs. One second. No vision can grasp him. I want to start from 102 again. Every time I'm trying to do something. That is God, your Lord. There is no God but He, the Creator of all things. Then worship ye Him, and He hath power to dispose of all affairs. Maybe it's my fault. I'm gonna set a do not disturb for Alexa. I just argued with Alexa. And she just went purple on me. Okay, Namaste. Never mind. That is God, your Lord. There is no God but He, the Creator of all things. Then worship ye Him, and He hath power to dispose of all affairs. No vision can grasp Him, but His grasp is over all vision. He is above all comprehension, yet is acquainted with all things. Now have come to you from your Lord proofs. If any will see, it will be for his own soul. If any will be blind, it will be to his own. I am not to watch over your doings. Thus do we explain the signs by various things, that they may say, Thou hast taught diligently, and that we may make the matter clear to those who know. Follow what thou art taught by inspiration from thy Lord. There is no God but He, and turn aside from those who join gods with God. If it had been God's plan, they would not have taken false gods. But we made thee not one to watch over their doings, nor art thou set over them to dispose of their affairs. Revile not ye those whom they call upon besides God, lest they out of spite revile God in their ignorance. Thus have we made alluring to each people its own doings. In the end will they return to their Lord, and we shall then tell them the truth of all that they did. They swear their strongest oaths by God, that if a sign came to them, by it they would believe. Say, certainly signs are in the power of God, but what will make you realize that if the signs came, they will not believe. I want to read that again. This like parenthesis, I don't if I'm translating something, I'll never do this. They swear their strongest oaths by God, that if a sign came to them, by it they would believe. Say, certainly signs are in the power of God, but what will make you realize that if the signs came, they will not believe? We shall turn to their hearts and their eyes, even as they refuse to believe in the first instance. We shall leave them in their trespasses, to wander in distraction. Those in obstinate rebellion against God are merely deceived and deceive each other. Leave them alone, but trust and obey God openly and in the inmost Leave them alone, but trust and obey God openly and in the inmost recesses of your heart. The plots of the wicked are but plots against their own souls. Even if we did send unto them angels, and the dead did speak unto them, and we gathered together all things before their very eyes, they are not the ones to believe, unless it is in God's plan. But most of them ignore. Likewise, did we make for every messenger an enemy, evil ones among men and jinns, inspiring each other with flowery discourses by way of deception. If thy Lord had so planned, they would not have done it. So leave them and their inventions alone. To such, let the hearts of those incline who have no faith in the hereafter. Let them delight in it, and let them earn from it what they may. Say, shall I seek for judge other than God, when he it is who hath sent unto you the book, explained in detail? They know full well to whom we have given the book, that it hath been sent down from thy Lord in truth. Never be then of those who doubt. The word of thy Lord doth find its fulfillment in truth and in justice. None can change his words, for he is the one who heareth and knoweth all. Wert thou to follow the common run of those on earth, they will lead thee away from the way of God. They follow nothing but conjecture. They do nothing but lie. Thy Lord knoweth best who strayeth from his way. He knoweth best who they are that receive his guidance. So eat of them on which God's name hath been pronounced, if ye have faith in his signs. Why should ye not eat of them on which God's name hath been pronounced, when he hath explained to you in detail what is forbidden to you? Except under compulsion of necessity. I want to read that again. This freaking pages is messing. Everything's messing me up. It's like nobody gives me a break. Even pages are messing. Papers messing me up. Digital paper, not even physical paper. Digital papers messing me up. Why should you not eat of them on which God's name hath been pronounced, when he hath explained to you in detail what is forbidden to you? Except under compulsion of necessity. But many do mislead by their appetites unchecked by knowledge. Thy Lord knoweth best those who transgress. Is true all sin, open or secret? Those who earn sin will get due recompense for their earnings. Eat not of them on which God's name hath not been pronounced. That will be impiety. But the evil ones ever inspire their friends to contend with you. If ye were to obey them, you would indeed be pagans. Can he who is dead to whom we gave life, and a light whereby he can walk amongst men, be like him who is in the depths of darkness, from which he can never come out. Thus to those without faith, their own deeds seem pleasing. Thus have we placed leaders in every town, its wicked men to plot therein, but they only plot against their own souls, and they perceive it not. When there comes to them a sign, they say, we shall not believe until we receive one like those received by God's apostles. God knoweth best where to carry out his mission. Soon will the wicked be overtaken by humiliation before God, and a severe punishment for all their plots. Those whom God willeth to guide, he openeth their breast to Islam. Those whom he willeth to leave straying, he maketh their breasts close and constricted, as if they had to climb up to the skies. Thus doth God Thus doth God's penalty on those who refuse to believe. This is the way of thy Lord, leading straight. We have detailed the signs for those who receive admonition. For them will be a home of peace in the presence of their Lord. He will be their friend because they practiced. One day will he gather them all together. O ye assembly of jinns, much did ye take of men. Their friends amongst men will say, our Lord, we may profit from each other, but we reached our term, which thou didst appoint for us. He will say, the fire be your dwelling place. You will dwell therein forever, except as God willeth. For thy Lord is full of wisdom and knowledge. Thus do we make the wrongdoers turn to each other because of what they earn. God punishes not mere shortcoming. There are degrees in good and evil deeds. God is merciful, but his plan is sure, and none can stand in its way. We must avoid all superstition and all excess, and humbly ask for his guidance. O ye assembly of jinns and men, came there not unto you apostles from amongst you, setting forth unto you my signs, and warning you of the meeting of this day of yours? They will say, we bear witness against ourselves. It was the life of this world that deceived them. So against themselves will they bear witness that they rejected faith. Thus, for thy Lord would not destroy for their wrongdoing, men's habitations, whilst their occupants were unwarned. To all are degrees according to their deeds. For thy Lord is not unmindful of anything that they do. Thy Lord is self-sufficient, full of mercy. If it were his will, he could destroy you, and in your place appoint whom he will as your successors, even as he raised you up from the posterity of other people. All that hath been promised unto you will come to pass, nor can ye frustrate it, saying, "Oh, my people, do whatever you can. I will do." Soon will ye know who it is whose end will be in the hereafter. Certain it is that the wrongdoers will not prosper. Out of what God hath produced in abundance, in tilth and in cattle, they assigned him a share. They say, according to their fancies, this is for God, and this for our partners. But the share of their partners reacheth not God, whilst the share of God reacheth their partners. Evil is their assignment. Even so, in the eyes of most of the pagans, their partners made alluring the slaughter. My injuries are just getting in the way. Right, you know what? let me see how many. 137 right now. I'm gonna take a quick break and see how many more verses are there. Okay. So you know what? I'm gonna end with this section that I'm reading now. They have like 10 more verses left. No, not even. 4 more verses. Okay. Even so, in the eyes of most of the pagans, their partners made alluring the slaughter of their children in order to lead them to their own destruction and cause confusion in their religion. If God had willed, they would not have done so, but leave alone them and their inventions. And they say that such and such cattle and crops are taboo, and none should eat of them except those whom, so they say. We wish, further, there are cattle forbidden to yoke or burden, and cattle on which the name of God is not pronounced. Inventions against God's name. Soon will he requite them for their inventions. They say, what is in the wombs of such and such cattle is specially reserved for our men and forbidden to our women. But if it is stillborn, then all have shares therein. For their attribution, he will soon punish them, for he is full of wisdom and knowledge. Lost are those who slay their children from folly without knowledge, and forbid food which God hath provided for them, inventing against God. They have indeed gone astray and heeded no guidance. I'm going to read one more section. It is he who produceth gardens with trellises and without, and dates, until with, you know what, I'm going to finish right here. I'm done. Getting tired. What? Okay. New Testament next. Thank you. I'm gonna take 2 more minutes, maybe drink something. Yeah, I'm taking a break. Thank you. Okay, checking. Oh, oops. Checking. Okay. New Testament, 1 Corinthians, chapter 9. Namaste. Am I not a free man? Am I not an emissary of the Messiah? Haven't I seen Yah-Usha our Lord? And aren't you yourselves the result of my work for the Lord? Even if to others I am not an emissary, at least I am to you, for you are living proof that I am the Lord's emissary. That is my defense when people put me under examination. Give me 1 second. Namaste. Don't we have the right to be given food and drink? Don't we have the right to take along with us a believing wife, as do the other emissaries, also the Lord's brothers in Kappa? Alright, you know what, I'm gonna, from now on, before I read any non-Sanskrit text, I'm gonna chant this mantra before reading it. But I'm at verse 6, so I'm gonna just do this mantra really quick. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, Namaste. Or are Barnaba and I the only ones required to go on working for our living? Did you ever hear of a soldier paying his own expenses, or of a farmer planting a vineyard without eating its grapes? Who shepherds a flock without drinking some of the milk? What I am saying is not based merely on human authority, because the Torah says the same thing. For in the Torah of Moshe it is written, you are not to put a muzzle on an ox when it is treading up the grain. If God is concerned about cattle, all the more does he say this for our sakes. Yes, it was written for us, meaning that he who plows and he who threshes should work expecting to get a share of the crop. If we have sown spiritual seed among you, is it too much if we reap a material harvest from you? If others are sharing in this right to be supported by you, don't we have a greater claim to it? But we don't make use of this right. Rather, we put up with all kinds of things so as not to impede in any way the good news about the Messiah. Don't you know that those who work in the temple get their food from the temple, and those who serve at the altar get a share of the sacrifices offered there? In the same way, the Lord directed that those who proclaim the good news should get their living from the good news. But I have not made use of any of these rights, nor am I writing now to secure them for myself, for I would rather die than be deprived of my ground for boasting. For I can't boast merely because I proclaim the good news. This I do from inner compulsion. Woe is me if I don't proclaim the good news. Sorry, I want to say the whole 16. I'm tired, I guess, from the Quran. For I can't boast merely because I proclaim the good news. This I do from inner compulsion. Woe is me if I don't proclaim the good news. For if I do this willingly, I have a reward. But if I do it unwillingly, I have a reward. But if I do it unwillingly, I still do it, simply because I've been entrusted with a job. So then, what is my reward? Just this, that in proclaiming the good news, I can make it available free of charge, without making use of the rights to which it entitles me. For although I am a free man, not bound to do anyone's bidding, I have made myself a slave to all, in order to win as many people as possible. That is, with Jews, what I did was put myself in the position of a Jew, in order to win Jews. With people in subjection to a legalistic perversion of the Torah, I put myself in the position of someone under such legalism, in order to win those under this legalism, even though I myself am not in subjection to a legalistic perversion of the Torah. With those who live outside the framework of Torah, I put myself in the position of someone outside the Torah, in order to win those outside the Torah. Although I myself am not outside the framework of God's Torah, but within the framework of Torah as upheld by the Messiah. With the weak, I became weak in order to win the weak. With all kinds of people, I become all kinds of things, so that in all kinds of circumstances, I might save at least some of them. But I do it all because of the rewards promised by the good news, so that I may share in them along with the others who come to trust. Don't you know that in a race all the runners compete, but only one wins the prize? So then, one to win. Now every athlete in training submits himself to strict discipline, and he does it just to win a laurel wreath that will soon wither away. But we do it to win a crown that will last forever. Accordingly, I don't run aimlessly, but straight for the finish line. I don't shadow box, but try to make every punch count. I treat my body hard and make it my slave, so that, after proclaiming the good news to others, I myself will not be disqualified. Chapter 10. For brothers, I don't want you to miss the significance of what happened to our fathers. All of them were guided by the pillar of cloud, and they all passed through the sea. And in connection with the cloud and with the sea, they all immersed themselves into motion. Also they all ate the same food from the Spirit, and they all drank the same drink from the Spirit. For they drank from a Spirit-sent rock which followed them, and that rock was the Messiah. Yet with the majority of them God was not pleased, so their bodies were strewn across the desert. Now these things took place as prefigurative historical events, warning us not to set our hearts on evil things as they did. Don't be idolaters, as some of them were, as the Tanakh puts it. The people sat down to eat and drink, then got up to indulge in revelry. And let us not engage in sexual immorality, as some of them did, with the consequence that 23,000 died in a single day. And let us not put the Messiah to the test, as some of them did, and were destroyed by snakes. And don't grumble, as some of them did, and were destroyed by the destroying angel. These things happened to them as prefigurative historical events, and they were written down as a warning to us who are living in the Akharit Hayamim. Therefore, let anyone who thinks he's standing up be careful not to fall. No temptation has seized you beyond what people normally experience, and God can be trusted not to allow you to be tempted beyond what you can bear. On the contrary, along with the temptation, He will also provide the way out, so that you will be able to endure. Therefore, my dear friends, run from idolatry. I speak to you as sensible people. Judge for yourself what I am saying. The cup of blessing over which we make the barakah. The cup of blessing over which we make the barakah. Isn't it a sharing in the bloody sacrificial death of the Messiah? The bread we break, isn't it a sharing in the body of the Messiah? Because there is one loaf of bread, we who are many constitute one body, since we all partake of the one loaf of bread. Look at physical Israel. Don't those who eat the sacrifices participate in the altar? So, what am I saying? That food sacrificed to idols has any significance in itself? Or that an idol has significance in itself? No, what I am saying is that the things which pagans sacrifice, they sacrifice not to God, but to demons. And I don't want you to become sharers of the demons. You can't drink both a cup of the Lord and a cup of demons. You can partake in both a meal of the Lord and a meal of demons. Or are we trying to make the Lord jealous? We aren't stronger than He is, are we? Everything is permitted, you say? Maybe, but not everything is helpful. Everything is permitted? Maybe, but not everything is edifying. No one should be looking out for his own interests, but for those of his fellow. Eat whatever is sold in the meat market without raising questions of conscience, for the earth and everything in it belong to the Lord. If some unbeliever invites you to a meal, and you want to go, eat whatever is put in front of you without raising questions of conscience. But if someone says to you, "This meat was offered as a sacrifice," then don't eat it, out of consideration for the person who pointed it out, and also for conscience's sake. However, I don't mean your conscience, but that of the other person. You say, why should my freedom be determined by someone else's conscience? If I participate with thankfulness, why am I criticized over something for which I myself bless God? Well, whatever you do, whether it's eating or drinking or anything else, do it all so as to bring glory to God. Do not be an obstacle to anyone, not to Jews, not to Gentiles, and not to God's messianic community. Just as I try to please everyone in everything I do, not looking out for my own interests, but for those of the many, so that they may be saved. Chapter 11. Try to imitate me, even as I myself tried to imitate the Messiah. Now I praise you because you have remembered everything I told you and observed the traditions just the way I passed them on to you. But I want you to understand that the head of every man is the Messiah, and the head of a wife is her husband, and the head of the Messiah is God. Every man who prays or prophesies bearing something down over his head brings shame to his head. But every woman who prays or prophesies with her head unveiled brings shame to her head. There is no difference between her and a woman who has had her head shaved. For if a woman is not veiled, let her also have her hair cut short. But if it is shameful for a woman to wear her hair cut short, or to have her head shaved, then let her be veiled. For a man indeed should not have his head veiled, for he is the image and glory of God, and the woman is the glory of men. For man was not made from woman, but woman from man. And indeed, man was not created for the sake of the woman, but woman for the sake of the man. The reason a woman should show by veiling her head that she is under authority has to do with the angels. Nevertheless, in union with the Lord, neither is woman independent of man, nor is man independent of woman. For as the woman was made from the man, so also the man is now born through the woman. But everything is from God. Decide for yourselves. Is it appropriate for a woman to pray to God when she is unveiled? Doesn't the nature of things itself teach you that a man who wears his hair long degrades himself? But a woman who wears her hair long enhances her appearance, because her hair has been given to her as a covering. However, if anyone wants to argue about it, the fact remains that we have no such custom, nor do the Messianic communities of God. But in giving you this next instruction, I do not praise you, because when you meet together, it does more harm than good. For in the first place, I hear that when you gather together as a congregation, you divide up into cliques, and to a degree I believe it. Granted that there must be some divisions among you in order to show who are the ones in the right. Thus, when you gather together, it is not to eat a meal of the Lord, because as you eat your meal, each one goes ahead on his own, so that one stays hungry while another is already drunk. Don't you have homes to eat and drink in? Or are you trying to show your contempt for God's Messianic community and embarrass those who are poor? What am I supposed to say to you? Am I supposed to praise you? Well, for this I don't praise you. For what I received from the Lord is just what I passed on to you, that the Lord Yah-Usha, on the night he was betrayed, took bread, and after he had made the barakah, he broke it and said, "This is my body, which is for you. Do this as a memorial to me." Likewise also the cup after the meal, saying, "This cup is the new covenant effected by my blood. Do this as often as you drink it, as a memorial to me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink the cup, you proclaim the death of the Lord until he comes. Therefore, whoever eats the Lord's bread or drinks the Lord's cup in an unworthy manner will be guilty of desecrating the body and blood of the Lord. So let a person examine himself first, and then he may eat of the bread and drink from the cup. For a person who eats and drinks without recognizing the body eats and drinks judgment upon himself. This is why many among you are weak and sick, and some have died. If we would examine ourselves, we would not come under judgment. But when we are judged by the Lord, we are being disciplined, so that we will not be condemned along with the world. So then, my brothers, when you gather together to eat, wait for one another. If someone is hungry, he should eat at home. If someone is hungry, he should eat at home, so that when you meet together, it will not result in judgment. As for the other matters, I will instruct you about them when I come. I'm going to do 2 more chapters. And I'll finish with 13. Okay. Chapter 12. But, brothers, I do not want you to go on being ignorant about the things of the Spirit. You know that when you were pagans, no matter how you felt you were being led astray to idols, which can't speak at all. Therefore, I want to make it clear to you that no one speaking by the Spirit of God ever says, Yah-Usha is cursed. And no one can say, Yah-Usha is Lord, except by the Ruach HaKodesh. Now, there are different kinds of gifts, but the same Spirit gives them. Also, there are different ways of serving, but it is the same Lord being served. And there are different modes of working, but it is the same God working them all in everyone. Moreover, to each person is given the particular manifestation of the Spirit that will be for the common good. To one, through the Spirit, is given a word of wisdom, to another a word of knowledge, in accordance with the same Spirit, to another faith, by the same Spirit, and to another gifts of healing by the one Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another the ability to judge between spirits, to another the ability to speak in different kinds of tongues, and to yet another the ability to interpret tongues. One and the same Spirit is at work in all these things, distributing to each person as he chooses. For just as the body is one but has many parts, and all the parts of the body, though many, constitute one body, so it is with the Messiah. For it was by one Spirit that we were all immersed into one body, whether Jews or Gentiles, slaves or free, and we were all given the one Spirit to drink. For indeed the body is not one part but many. If the foot says, I am not a hand, so I am not part of the body, that doesn't make it stop being part of the body. And if the ear says, I'm not an eye, so I'm not part of the body, that doesn't make it stop being part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, how could it hear? If it were all hearing, how could it smell? But as it is, God arranged each of the parts in the body exactly as He wanted them. Now, if they were all just one part, where would the body be? But as it is, there are indeed many parts, yet just one body. So the eye cannot say to the hand, I don't need you, or the head to the feet, I don't need you. On the contrary, the parts of the body that seem to be less important turn out to be all the more necessary. And upon body parts which we consider less dignified, we bestow greater dignity. And the parts that are unattractive are the ones we make as attractive as we can, while our attractive parts have no need for such treatment. Indeed, God has put the body together in such a way that He gives greater dignity to the parts that lack it, so that there will be no disagreements within the body, but whether all the parts will be equally concerned for all the others. Thus, if one part suffers, all the parts suffer with it, and if one part is honored, all the parts share its happiness. Now you together constitute the body of the Messiah, and individually you are parts of it. And God has placed in the Messianic community first emissaries, second prophets, third teachers, then those who work miracles, then those with gifts of healing, those with ability to help, those skilled in administration, and those who speak in various tongues. Not all are emissaries, are they? Not all are prophets, are they? Or teachers? Or miracle workers? Not all have gifts of healing. Not all speak in tongues. Not all interpret, do they? Eagerly seek the better gifts. But now I will show you the best way of all. Give me 1 second. Chapter 13. Let me see. Oh, I thought yeah, okay. Oh, this doesn't have the easy read. Okay, that's really short. Chapter 13. I may speak in the tongues of men, even angels. I want to start again. I may speak in the tongues of men, even angels. But if I lack love, I become merely blaring brass or cymbal clanging. I may have the gift of prophecy. I may fathom all mysteries, know all things, have all faith, enough to move mountains. But if I lack love, I am nothing. I may give away everything that I own. I may even hand over my body to be burnt. But if I lack love, I gain nothing. Love is patient and kind, not jealous, not boastful, not proud, rude, or selfish, not easily angered, and it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not gloat over other people's sins, but takes its delight in the truth. Love always bears up, always trusts, always hopes, always endures. Love never ends, but prophecies will pass, tongues will cease, knowledge will pass. For our knowledge is partial, and our prophecy partial. But when the perfect comes, the partial will pass. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, thought like a child, argued like a child. Now that I have become a man, I have finished with childish ways. For now we see obscurely in a mirror, but then it will be face to face. Now I know partly, then I will know fully, just as God has fully known me. But for now, 3 things last: trust, hope, love, and the greatest of these is love. That's it, folks. Thank you very much. Namaste. Have a good day.